Hello, so I was challenged by one of my friends to do a push-up challenge for mental health awareness and suicide awareness. And I'm not one to kind of give up on a challenge. I like to kind of like do things that push me because I never do push-ups, like ever. I don't think I've ever been able to do a push-up properly in my life. I've got very little kind of upper body strength. My arms are really skinny. And so when I was challenged to it, I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. And so over 25 days, did 25 push-ups a day, which is, I calculated just recently, is 625 press-ups. And there were days when I really didn't want to do it, and it was kind of like, oh, I've got to make myself do it because I've got to post it and say that I've done it. And so I thought to myself, what other challenges could I do so that it was something that motivated me to do it every day, because I had to do it because it was a challenge, because I'm always like talking myself out of things. Like, oh yeah, you don't really want to do that, when I actually do. And so I thought to myself, a really good one would be to run every day for 25 days, which I'm a little bit nervous about. I was going to do it where it's just you've got to go out and run however much you want, but you've got to run every day. But then I kind of thought to myself, I know that I'll get lazy and I'll just kind of do like 5Ks or whatever. And so, or even less than that. So I feel a bit sick saying this, I'm going to challenge myself to run 10K every day for 25 days, and I'm going to record my progress, and I'm going to kind of go through like what it feels like and whether I'm in the mood for it or not. I'll probably have like no makeup on some of the videos because I don't usually wear makeup when I go for a run. And when I've like, afterwards and stuff, it's not a pretty sight. But anyway, you'll get to see everything. So I kind of wanted to do it to kind of make myself accountable. But the other reason why I want to run every day is because running is linked to improved mental health. And when I was at my most happiest, in the past couple of years, it was when I was running at least 2, 3 times a week. And so I kind of want to do it as an experiment. I want to see what the effect is on my mental health from running every day. Because the other thing is, if I run too much and say I do a half marathon with like no training, then what tends to happen is the day after I have like a slump in my mood. So whenever I'm really tired, my mental health declines. So I kind of wanted to track it every day into a video and to kind of see, is it having a positive impact? Is it having a negative impact? And I thought I'd choose something like a 10K because I can easily run a 10K. Like, it's not a struggle for me, I just go slower. And I can do one in about an hour. So that is doable. An hour's exercise a day is not that bad, and plus I'm not doing anything else, I'm working from home, so this is kind of a good time to try it, to see if it's something that I should adopt in my everyday life. Should I get up early and go for a run every morning? Like, should I do this? Because I've been thinking about this for a long time, like imagining myself having that as part of my routine. So I wanted to kind of try it out and see. So I'm going to try it and let you know how it goes. It should be interesting because I can imagine myself not wanting to do it. So we'll see. Here goes, 25 days of 10Ks. Hello, it is the 6th of June. It's about 7:30, so it's day 1 of the 25-day challenge of 10K a day for 25 days. It's probably taken me about an hour and a half to get ready for this run because I don't want to go on a run right now. Like, I don't feel like I want to go on a run. I am literally making myself go because I've decided to do this challenge. So I will let you know how I feel about it when I come back. But yeah, I'm just literally just gonna go and just get it done. It's an hour. It'll go relatively quick. So yeah, I'll let you know what I feel like when I come back. Hey, so I've just done my run. I am sufficiently sweaty, as you can probably tell. It was all right actually. It was quite tough to start off with because I haven't run in like 2 weeks. So it was like getting back into it. I found that I had a couple of twinges, so I had a twinge in my shoulder, which after like the first K, which went by the second, so that was fine. Which is a normal thing. It's because I didn't stretch my arms before I went, so that was kind of why. I found the hills really hard. Like if I just kind of go on my Strava and show my like elevation, what does it say? Yeah, so the elevation of 19 was hard work. It was like, and I've worn the wrong clothes, so I've got like a long sleeve on because before I left the house I was really cold, so I was like, I don't want to feel cold, but it's a complete mistake. Like it's a complete rookie error that I don't know why I made it. So yeah, and I've got like these pants on that are a bit padded as well. For I think they're for more like like winter running when it's really cold. So I was really warm all the way around. So I'm not wearing these next time. I mean tomorrow. So I feel a lot better actually. I feel like happy that I've done it. Like I always feel like that afterwards, and it's not that bad. It goes really, really quick. I'm just about to now do 30 minutes of yoga with Adrian. So I'm like mashed two together. I've got like two cool down videos, and I watched like 20 minutes of one and then cut the last 10 minutes off because that's in the other video anyway. And then I do foam rolling for half an hour, which is an absolute godsend. Like whenever my muscles are feeling kind of like tight or I can just feel them, if I foam roll them like the day after, I'm absolutely fine. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm done for the day. So I will join you again tomorrow about how I feel getting ready for the next one. It's like frustrating because I spent like longer trying to make myself go for a run than what the run actually took. And I feel good now. Like it's not, I don't. Oh, that's what I was going to share. I was going to share my time. So my route that I've got at the minute is a circle, but it's not quite 10k. It's like 9k. So I added a little bit on, but I didn't add enough on because when I got to the end, it was like 9 kilometers 0.7. And my Fitbit doesn't work. It doesn't really tell me accurate like distances. It undercounts. So on my Fitbit, it was saying I'd only done like 7 or 8 or something. So it's like really. So when I got my phone out, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to run up and down again. So I did my sprint finish and then had to run a bit more. So tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit more on to the bit where I added. So I add just a little bit more, so that when I do it again, I won't have to run back and forth as much. Hopefully, it'll stop where I want it to stop. So I'll have to test that and see. So I think that might help. So yeah, my time was 1 hour 4 minutes, which is pretty slow actually for me. Like I could usually do a 10k in about an hour. I think my PB's about 50 minutes, so like there's a lot of scope there to get better. I did one recently and I think it was 57 minutes, and that was hard. I was pushing myself, so I'm not as fit as I used to be and I'm not as quick as I used to be, but we'll see if this challenge gets me there. Not that I'm trying to be faster, I'm just wondering if it's going to be a consequence of running every day that you just naturally get faster. I don't know. So I will join you tomorrow to update you. Hello, so it is day 2 of the 10k 25 day challenge. It's the 7th of June. It's about 7:30. I woke up this morning, in fact even last night, and I was in a lot of pain. I think I'd forgotten actually that I would experience this because I haven't ran for, well, since yesterday I hadn't ran for about 2 weeks. And so if you're a runner and you stop running and then you start again, in your head you think to yourself, yeah, I could do that, that's fine, I've done it lots of times. But then when you actually do it, you realise that your body just isn't used to it, like you need to build it up. So yeah, I was feeling pain last night and I was thinking, oh, this isn't going to be good, like tomorrow's going to be awful. And I woke up this morning and again I was in loads of pain. And it's annoying because when I got, like I did dynamic stretching before I left, I did a little bit of stretching when I came back, I did yoga, which is basically stretching, and then I also did foam rolling. And I'm wondering actually whether or not the foam roller has maybe bruised me a little bit, because I used to foam roll all the time, but obviously I've not foam rolled for 2 weeks because my back is actually, because I foam rolled my back and my shoulders, that's actually hurting, and that doesn't normally hurt when I go for a run, I don't think. So maybe I've just bruised myself with my foam roller because it is like a really hard one. So maybe that's the case. But anyway, since getting up and walking around a little bit, I don't feel as bad. I'm thinking that this run's probably not going to be the most enjoyable, but I'm going to do it. I found it a lot easier to get ready today. I just got up and got ready straight away. Like my sleeping pattern's a bit messed up because I've got noisy neighbours and I have to sleep in the daytime, so this is kind of like my morning. But yeah, got ready straight away, no problem. I didn't really think that much about it. I don't particularly want to go, but I kind of am a little bit more motivated to go because I know that once I've done it, then I've done it for the day. So I feel a lot better. Mental health in general as well is a lot better today, which is strange because like when I think about what I was feeling like yesterday and what I feel like today, I feel more myself today, which is good because I didn't realise that I wasn't myself the other day, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go for the run now. My Fitbit's on charge for a little bit so that I can record how long I ran for because it doesn't do distance very well. But and I'm gonna add that little bit to my route as well so that it becomes a 10k. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm gonna run to the tram stop and back, additional to what I was running before. So I will let you know after I've done the run how it feels and yeah. Oh, I feel a bit sick actually, like going to do this now because yeah, I'm sore but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run really slow if it hurts because the point is that I do it, not that I do it well, at least not now anyway. So yeah, I'll see you later. So it's 9 o'clock. I've just finished the run. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't enjoyable either. It was definitely harder today than what it was yesterday. I was a lot slower today. I was doing more of like a jog than a run, I would say. I had like a few twinges, so I had like some twinges in my abs when I first started off, about the first K, but then they kind of went. I had a few twinges in my left ankle, but again, they went after about a K, so that was fine. And then I've got some kind of like chafing under my arm there, just like really painful. So I was like having to deal with that like all the way around. I think it's because I've worn like this when yesterday I had like a proper like long sleeve top on, so obviously my body's just not used to it. I think eventually like your body gets used to how your clothes like rub your body and it just gets a little bit less hurt by it. So it's a bit annoying today because there was a lot of people like that just weren't social distancing at all, like weren't like moving over or anything. Like it's really frustrating because as you're running, you've only got a short amount of time to figure out what the other person's going to do, and you just find that they're either stood in the middle of the path, so you either go into oncoming traffic or you go onto like a grass verge, which is difficult to run on. But even if, for example, you were to go onto the grass verge, you'd still not be 2 meters away from them because they're in the middle of the path. So you're relying on them to kind of see what you're doing to then do it, and often they don't, and it's just really frustrating because it's like as much as you want to social distance, you can't because there's just people around that just don't think. Like I went past one couple with a pram and the path was really thin, so obviously I couldn't have ran past them normally anyway, so I went onto the road, but she didn't even attempt to walk behind the pram. She just stayed like two abreast on this path, and I was like, I'm in the middle of a road trying to get away from you, and it would make it a lot easier for me if you would also do the same and go to one side of the road, like one side of the path. But no. And then one woman literally just like, she didn't give a crap, she just walked straight past me, and I was just like I'm trying, you can clearly see I'm trying to be on like the side of the path to you, like that's far away from you, and it was impossible to social distance from her. So yeah, really, really frustrating being a runner, because the other thing is as well, if you're running faster than someone that's walking, so I'll give you another example. When I first set off, I was running past Heaton Park because it's quite a nice day today. There's a lot of people that have gone to the park, and like they were kind of coming over like some parkland, which they shouldn't have been walking on anyway because there was no path there. They were coming onto the road and they could see me running down the hill. They knew that I was going to come down and go past them, and yet they still came onto the path and made it impossible to socially distance from me. It's like if that was me and I was walking, I would just stop and wait for the runner to go past and then go like that, you know, but whatever. So back to my run after that little rant. I'm sure all runners are as frustrated as I am about it. It's just really, you know, it ruins the enjoyment of your run because I'm going out to stay healthy, but then you might have coronavirus and give it to me, so then that's kind of defeating the objective of me trying to be healthy, but whatever. So I did the same route today. I did add a little bit on, and I ended up doing 10.19 kilometers, so I added on just a little bit too much. So I'll try to do that, because what happens is I don't, like, my sprint finish then doesn't count as part of my run, which I do towards the end of the run. So obviously if I get my distance wrong, my sprint finish doesn't count, which is annoying. So I ran it in 1 hour and 6 minutes, which, what was it yesterday? yesterday was yesterday was an hour and 4. So I'm only actually like 2 minutes slower. I'm only 2 minutes slower. That's so bizarre because it felt so much more difficult to do. It just goes to show, doesn't it, that it's all in your mind. Like if it was only 2 minutes and I actually did a bit of extra on it, then it probably was about the same time. That's bizarre, that, because it honestly, it felt like I was jogging and I was going really slow. It didn't feel like I was going fast at any part of it at all. So that's really interesting. Um, so day 2 done. Um, I'm not kind of like feeling like awful afterwards. Like I feel okay, and my mind feels good as well. So that's all great. Pleased with myself that I've done 2 in a row. So you know it can only be up from here. So join me again tomorrow when I get ready for the run, and then after the run as well. Hey, it is day 3 and it's the 8th of June. It's about 20 past 7. For the past like 24 hours, I've just been feeling really lethargic, really sore. I'm kind of like usually one of these people who's really busy and really doing lots of things, and I've just not wanted to. I was like listening to my audiobook and I was falling asleep multiple times while listening to it. So I just feel really tired and really kind of like lethargic. And I mean, it could possibly be because I ran out of coffee and I usually have 3 cups a day. So maybe that's contributed to it a little bit, but I think it's just because I'm so sore, my body's trying to repair itself, that I'm just so tired. And just don't want to do anything, just want to conserve as much energy as possible. I think might have also contributed to the fact that, um, wait, what am I saying? What might have also contributed is the fact that the other day I didn't cook any tea for my evening meal because I wasn't hungry. And I think that kind of lack of energy and whatever is probably, compacted. I did eat properly last night and I've got some more food to have, like multiple like snacks throughout the day, so hopefully that'll help. I always forget, like when you exercise, that you've got to eat so much more, and like because I don't tend to get hungry very often, so I don't eat as much as I should do. I'm like having to force feed myself, and that's what puts me off doing exercise like a lot, because I don't want to force feed myself. Like it just isn't comfortable. Oh, that's the ice cream van for the 18th June. So I will come back after the run, which I don't want to have to do it at all. I just really, really don't want to go and do it. Like, I mean, it's day 3. Like, I've only done 2 days, and already I'm hating it. It's just so. I mean, I've got to remember and put it into context. When I did the push-up challenge, the first 3 days were the hardest. Like they were, because your body's just doing something it's not used to. So I'm hoping that after like 3 or 4 days, I'll get used to it and it won't hurt anymore, and it'll just be a case of like having to go. I'm going to try and run with music in today because I think that I need something to like chill me out, because I feel a little bit like not quite not quite myself. Like I feel, because I'm tired and yeah, your mind's not as strong as it when you're tired. So yeah, I'm gonna run with music and just get it done, and then I'll talk you through how slow it was. I just got back from the run, knackered. It was hard today. Like I felt like I was just jogging, and when there was the hill, so like the +11 elevation, the +90 elevation, I felt like I was going to stop, like because I was just like literally one foot in front of the other. I wasn't really striding, it was just literally like a really short stride. So just yeah, I feel like that was like the very first time I'd ever done a 10k. Like I feel like I'm running, like when I've done a half marathon before and I get to like the second half, it feels like I'm on that kind of 10k where it's like I've been running for an hour already and then I've got to carry on running for like another hour and 20 minutes. It's funny because usually when you do a run, you start off and for the first like 20 minutes or so, it feels great. Like it's just like, yes, I'm running, you know, what I was what I was made to do. Um, and the time goes really quick, and then you start to kind of like clock watch then. So after about 20 minutes, I usually clock watch like every 7 minutes or so, because it's like every kilometer or so. And today I was literally clock watching like the entire time. It's funny because it goes quick, but the whole time it feels really slow. So like now it feels like wow, it's done. that was quick. But the whole time I was like, oh, how long is left to go? Um, Managed to add kind of the right amount on, probably just a little bit like not enough. So I'll tweak that again tomorrow. My run time today, oh, I've got a lot of chafing as well under my arms. It's so painful. Like that's kind of like what was most annoying throughout the run. A lot of people out today who obviously don't know how to social distance, like quite clearly, because I was like running and I'd already ran past this like group of people on bikes, and they'd come past me and hadn't kind of come near me. Well, they were near me, but not more than 2 meters. And then so I carried on running, and then I ended up having to go past them again, I think. Or no, I think just half of them had gone past me. And then one of them's coming up like behind me, and I'm not joking, they were so close to me. I ended up just like swearing and going across to the other side of the road because I was just like, are you for real? Like I'm trying my best to stay to one side of the road and you are really, really close to me. Two of them like next to each other coming up behind me. It's just like you're idiots. So yeah, what was I going to say? So today it was 1 hour and 4 minutes. So pretty much the same as what it's been yesterday and the day before. In fact, it's back to my original time of a 10k of when I first started after not running for 2 weeks. So although it feels really, really horrendously slow, apparently it's the same, which is weird, but there we go. I'm just so glad I've done it and it's out of the way. And joy to being sore all day again. Hello, so it's day 4, so it's the 9th of June and it is 20:41. I am much later than yesterday because I did not want to run today at all. Like, I can't believe it's only the 4th day. Like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to last 25 days. It's just, what was I even thinking? Like, it's just so, I'm not sore anymore. However, yesterday I forgot to mention in the video that I had a bit of a twinge in my left ankle again. So, the previous run it was quite sore for a kilometre, but got better. It was kind of twinging last run, but wasn't hurting. It was just like an ache, and that ache has continued. So whilst my body's not sore anymore, I've kind of got over that. Didn't do yoga again, but just feel fine. I'd probably need to do it again, I think, for the bottom of my legs, because basically where the Achilles is at the back is fine, but there's 2 muscles on the side that are called like Solaris or something, and one of those on the inside of my ankle is really, really kind of like, it just feels thick, if that makes sense. Like, it just feels not, I mean, it's not swollen because visually when I look at it, it's not swollen, but it feels like it's swollen. So I think I've strained that through too much running, because obviously now I've done 30k in the space of 3 days, which I would never have done. I think that's the most I've ever done in such a short space of time. I've done a half marathon before, but that's 21k, and then I've always had rest for like 2 or 3 days afterwards, so I've never ran this much before. I'm kind of nervous to go on this run because I think that this is the kind of point where normally if I was feeling like this I wouldn't run on it because I would be worried about injuring myself, and I am worried because I'm thinking if I tear this or something kind of bad like that I like snap the ligament or something. Oh god, like, because it takes months and months to recover from something like that, and it affects you being able to walk and stuff. So I'm a little bit nervous to go running on it, so I'm going to kind of take it easy. Not that I've been really pushing it before, but I'm going to take it easy and just see what it's like, and almost kind of experiment with that kind of feeling of when you are feeling like this. Normally the response is to rest it, but actually, is it better to run on it and see what happens? So I'm going to kind of test that out and see. I'm going to run with my audiobook in because I don't want to run, and an hour when you don't want to do it is quite boring. So I'm going to try and listen to the audiobook and just run and just get it over and done with, and then come back and talk to you about whether I've snapped my ligament or not. So I've just done my run. It's about 20 past 10 now. It took me a while to figure out my Strava because it paused in my pocket at about 8k. It looks like it paused when I switched my phone from one side of my pocket to the other, which is really annoying because then when I got back I didn't know my time. Based on kind of like what my Fitbit was saying, it took me 1 hour and 12 minutes, which is horrendous because the run was awful. It was so bad. I mean, it was quite nice to listen to my audiobook, so that was good because it felt like I was just, running whilst listening to that rather than listening to that whilst running, if that makes sense. Although my left like ankle muscle was in agony like all the way around. Well, that's a bit dramatic. It wasn't in agony, it was just like, it wasn't, the thing is, it's weird because it's not like when someone stabs you and it really hurts, it's not like that. It's like a dull kind of ache, so it just feels like that. So when you're running you can like feel it, and I was just worried the whole time of how I was running on it. And I think that maybe because I was trying to compensate with my other leg unconsciously, that my knee started to hurt on my right leg. But then I wondered, I've got like these pants on that have got quite deep pockets, and the end of the pocket is like just above the knee, which is a really stupid pocket if you ask me. Whoever's designed these pants hasn't thought about it from a runner's perspective, but they never do. So my phone was above that, and as soon as I took my phone out and switched it over to the other side, the knee pain kind of reduced and it didn't hurt as much. So I'm thinking that that could be a contribution to it. But I definitely need to do some yoga now with my legs because they're a mess. Like, I can feel them, they're all kind of like just tight, and yeah, they just feel hard. So I need to basically do some yoga, and I think probably some foam rolling as well to kind of release that. So I think my time's about an hour and 12 minutes according to Fitbit, but I don't really, like, my Fitbit's not exactly accurate. I think it might be accurate on time, so maybe it is all right. But like, for example, my Fitbit says that I actually ran 9.84 kilometers, which isn't the case because I ran 10 and then walked a little bit before I stopped this, so it's just not right at all. But I've edited my Strava and added on like the extra bit that I did while it was. It's weird because it shows the route and it looks continuous, but they haven't actually added all the kilometers because it was paused whilst I was still going. Like, you'd think it would still calculate it. It's just bizarre. So that was annoying when I got back because I was like so annoying. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in terms of soreness, but it was hard work. It was like really difficult to run. It felt like I was running the half marathon at the end. Like, it just seems to get worse. It just feels worse every time. And I'm running and I'm thinking, I used to be able to pick my feet up more. That's another thing, like my feet feel really heavy, my legs feel really heavy. I'm just kind of doing a jogging pause rather than a running kind of like posture. So I don't imagine that this is going to get any better because I'm just going to get more progressively tired, I would think, unless my muscles kind of recover quicker. I don't know, but I think this is actually showing that a rest in between is definitely useful. I don't think I've ever like gone for a run and felt that bad when I started the run. Like, I've never experienced it that bad before, so I don't kind of advise going running every day if you're not used to it, because it's horrible. And it doesn't make you run faster, it doesn't make you run better. I'm running worse than I've ever run before. I think like my average pace was like 7 minutes 20 something, which is, I've never ran that slow before. So I don't think that this is a good training technique to run every day, not 10k anyway. I think I can understand now why people just only run 5k's every day, because I think that's probably a more manageable distance to be running every day that your body can then recover from. So running 10k a day is not it's not advisable when you don't normally do it. Hey, so it's day 5, 10th of June, it's about 8:30, and I'm about to go for a run. I'm just having a pre-run coffee before I go because I've finally been shopping and got some Nescafe Gold Blend. I have had kind of like twinges in my left ankle all yesterday, or technically all today, but for about a day. And then I've also, so like it still feels kind of like thick. And then I've also had like my knee like popping. Like, it feels like, like when you hold something too tight, it like pops out. It feels like that, like on my knees. I'm a bit worried about running on that because, like I mentioned yesterday, I would never, never, never run on legs like these under normal circumstances. So I'm going to run today. I'm not going to push it because I feel a lot better today. I don't feel tired or stiff or anything like that. It's just my legs are a bit iffy. So I imagine that they're probably not going to be able to run very fast. but as long as I do it, I'll be happy, and as long as I don't tear anything or hurt too much, then I'll be fine. So I will let you know how it goes when I get back. Hopefully, I get back before it goes dark. Hey, so I just got back. It's about 10 o'clock. Um, when I first started off running, my knee was really, really hurting. Um, and I just carried on running on it I was quite slow in the beginning. I think my first kilometre was like, let's just see what it was. Yeah, 7 minutes 13, which is like horrendous for a kilometre. It is a kind of 14 elevation, so it is uphill. So it is quite difficult to start off on, but usually that I'm quite fast on that because when you first start you run, you're usually faster, but today like my knee was killing and the side of my ankle was sore as well. So I kept on running, I was like taking it easy. And then I think about, like, when was it? I did like a massive hill. And then after that, probably for the last 2 kilometres, I felt like I was getting faster again, which is funny because for the entirety of the run, I was so slow and hating it. And, my legs, I mean, they weren't as bad as yesterday, they weren't as heavy as yesterday, but there was at times where I couldn't even feel my legs. Like, they just felt like they were all one, like one mass. And obviously I could feel like my knee and my ankle and things, but it just, yeah, it's a bit bizarre, a bizarre feeling when you're running kind of like fast. You don't really feel your legs. So on the last 2 kilometers, I felt like I was back to my normal kind of like running. It wasn't as bad, which you'd think it would be at the beginning, given that I just ran 8k and then I was starting to feel better. But anyway, so it's done. What I would say from this experiment is that if you aren't used to running every day, I wouldn't start off running every day. Not 10k anyway. I mean, maybe 5k or something, but to run 10k, like I'm literally not getting any faster, and it's every run's like difficult. And so there's, like, I would say from this to advocate a rest day. Like, I think a rest day would really help to get back like at it again and to try to beat the time that you had before. I think if you're trying to get faster, then running every day is not a good idea, particularly long distances. Well, 10k is not really a long distance, but it's longer than I guess a 5k. So yeah, I'd probably say that. I think the yoga that I did yesterday, the foam rolling, really actually helped because, like I said, towards the end of the run, I'd kind of eased into it and I was all right. I was glad it was finished, but yeah, it was a lot better. So all's good. Join you again tomorrow. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So far, because it's been 5 days, I've done 50k. To just give you some kind of perspective, a half marathon is about 21k. So a half marathon is like 2 and a bit 10k's. So then that means that a full marathon is 42 kilometers. So it's like just over 40k, which is like 4 10k's. So far, I've ran the distance of a marathon. So that's why my legs are not happy, because it is quite a long distance. I've been running for 5 entire hours, probably more than 5 hours. So it's natural for legs that aren't used to it to be feeling like this. I wouldn't advocate running this distance straight away because it is messing up my legs, and I'm having to like make sure that I foam roll and yoga and stuff just to keep them able to keep running, but they're not getting better. I can feel them getting worse. Hopefully my legs will just get used to it and it'll be all right, but I am worried every time I go out running that I'm going to get injured. So I would say, listen to your body. If your body feels like what I'm experiencing, don't go and run on it, because it will just get worse. Obviously, I'm going to keep doing it just to push it to see how long I can do it before I get injured, to see if I can actually do the full 25 days or not. Not the smartest plan, I admit, but I'm just experimenting. I just want to see if it is in my mind and if my body could recover in the time that, because I'm not really doing anything in between these runs. I'm kind of taking it quite easy. I'm not walking anywhere or anything like that, so it is literally my only exercise that I'm doing in the day, so I am getting quite a bit of rest in between. So we'll see. I'll join you tomorrow. Just for continuity, because I completely forgot to add on to my last kind of log. My time was 1 hour and 8 minutes and a bit, so terrible. Getting slower. I think that I need a rest day, but obviously I can't have one. So I imagine I mean, actually, it's faster than yesterday, which would explain because I found it easier on the last 2K, but still quite slow for me. Like, I'm usually a lot faster than that, so we'll see what it is tomorrow. Hello, it's day 6. It is the 11th of June and it's about 20 past 8. So today it is raining and it's very windy, so I imagine that this is going to either be really difficult or maybe the wind will help me to run a bit faster. So maybe on some bits it'll be easier and on some bits it'll be more difficult. I'm hoping that the wind is behind me on the hills, so it'll like push me up, and then the downhills are, I mean, I just hope the wind's behind me the whole way, but you know, I can compromise. So yeah, I will let you know how it goes. My knee's been popping a little bit. I'm not massively sore, but my legs are still, you know, they're still kind of like iffy. I foam rolled a lot last night and there were various parts of my legs that were a mess. So, and you know, when you released a bit of the muscle, it like released a bit more, and then you can feel it all the way up to your back. It's like you can't really win because you release one bit and then it hurts another bit. But anyway, we will see how this goes. So I'll be back in an hour. Oh, so it's 5 to 10. I've just got back. When I came off here before, I realised I hadn't had my pre-run coffee, so I went and made that and had that before I set off, which is why it's nearly 10 o'clock now. Because I only probably set off about like just before 9. It wasn't actually raining, which was great, and the wind wasn't that bad. It was actually quite nice to run in cooler temperatures because it's just always easier, and also because it had been raining, there's not as many people out. There's still a few people not social distancing and things, but the majority of the time it was all right. I had a bit of a like when I first set off, my right knee, yeah, was hurting a lot. But then after the first kilometre, couldn't feel anything, so it was absolutely fine. It's fine now, so no more kind of twinges or whatever. I was starting to run a little bit quicker, or it felt like I was, although having said that, my time overall is still 1 hour 6 minutes, which is dreadful. But at least I've done it, and if I look at yeah, there was only like the first kilometre that was 7 minutes and a bit, but it was going up an incline because it's a hill when I first start off, and my knee was killing, so that's why. Most of them were like 6.5 minutes, which is still really slow, but to be honest, given the state of what my legs are in, it's no surprise really. I think in a couple of days, I think I'll get back to being quicker, I think, just because my legs seem to be not so bad, as long as this knee holds out and doesn't get any worse. I had to kind of stop at one point because my blooming phone unlocked in my pants because it's a back pocket, and my audio was going funny, and I was like I can't run properly once I've listened to an audiobook and then it stops. Like I have to keep listening to it because otherwise I'll run slower. It's a bit weird. So I had to like get it out and sort that out, so that was a bit annoying, but I carried on running as I was doing it, but I was a bit slower. So yeah, another day down, feeling very happy about that. So that is 6 days, that's 60k. Only 19 days to go, so see you tomorrow. Hello, so it's day 7. It's the 12th of June, it's about 10 past 10. Not been for a run yet. I'm so annoyed at myself. Yesterday I had to wait up for a gas safety check, and I'd stupidly, well, I mean, at the time I'd wanted the appointment in the afternoon because that's what my sleep schedule was at the time. I was awake in the afternoon, but since I've flipped my schedule, I'm like awake in the night time and not in the afternoon, so I had to like stay up for like 19 hours for this gas safety check. I mean, it could have been longer, so I was grateful that it was only that long. And then when I tried to get to sleep, it was really difficult. And then the neighbours were being really noisy, using some kind of like power drill or something. So that kept waking me up, and kids were screaming and whatever. Set my alarm for 7:30 because I thought that would give me an hour to get up and get ready for 8:30 to be able to go. Slept through my alarm. So now it's 10:15. It's dark outside, which is why I've got this high vis on. and I'm not looking forward to running in it just because at this time of night around my area is not particularly, great. There's lots of dodgy people around, so I'm just gonna hope that it's gonna be fine. I've run in the dark before. Like running in the dark is not a problem. Like I like running in the dark, and I think as well that there'll probably be less people about because it's darker. But there's gonna be, I know down this particular road that I go down, there's gonna be a lot of dodgy people. I can just tell. So I'm not looking forward to that. So I'm just having my pre-run coffee. I'm going to stretch for a little bit, so I'll probably get out about 10:30 and be back for 11:30, which is awful, but I've got no choice. Like I have to do it for today, for day 7. I was thinking of like leaving it until like early morning, but then that's technically not in the day, like it's the next day. So I didn't want to flip it so that I'd be running in the morning hours because I'd be awake for quite a long time before it happened, and then I'd be just waiting around to run and stuff, and I don't want to get into that situation because my routine's quite good at the minute, or at least it was until this gas safety check. So yeah, I'm ranting because I've only just woken up and I'm like, oh my god, I've got to go running. So yeah, I'll be back in about an hour and 15, no, probably an hour and a half actually. So I've just got back. It's 20 to 12. I've got a few twinges in my left knee this time, which is unusual because it had been my right knee that was sore before. My blooming Strava paused in my pocket again, and the only reason that I noticed was because I was listening to an audiobook and it went really quiet and I couldn't hear it. So I thought, oh, I'll turn it up. And so I had to get it out of my pant pocket. And then I realised that Strava had stopped for like the last kilometre, and I was like, are you actually kidding me again? But luckily I've got Relive going as well at the same time. So it can tell me like that I've done 10 kilometres, and my Fitbit, I ended up putting it on stopwatch rather than run. So all over the place today, clearly sleep deprived. It was actually all right, a bit scary running in the dark on kind of like country lanes that aren't lit up. It's not really clever that. I don't want to be running at this time again because it's just not enjoyable to run, because you're just thinking like any minute someone can jump out of these bloody bushes. So I need to make sure that I go sooner. Really slow today. Like I've got like updates every kilometre through my earphones, so it tells me like how slow, I was gonna say how fast I've been going, but how slow I've been going. Over 7 minutes, which is awful. Like I've never run this slow before. Like it's just, I'm literally just jogging now rather than running. Like I think I've forgotten how to run because my legs are just, they're just heavy, and they don't, I can't lift my knees up because I just run out of energy really quickly. Like my legs haven't got the mobility that they used to have because they just feel really thick all the time. And like yesterday, I managed to like run a bit faster, but what I've noticed is I didn't foam roll yesterday, but I did foam roll the other day. So it seems like when I foam roll, I'm better the day after, but I didn't foam roll this time. So I kind of did a little bit with a tennis ball, but only like a couple of minutes. It wasn't very long. So I definitely need to foam roll today. As much as I don't really like doing it because it just takes ages, it does have a benefit to performance. Like it does improve, because I did yoga, and yeah, I'm not stiff, so the yoga's worked for that sense, but in terms of like mobility and stuff, and kind of almost like flexibility of the muscles, foam rolling is kind of really good for that. So yeah, another day down, day 7, done 70k. So impressed with myself, even though I'm not running very fast. So yeah, I don't even know what else to talk. I'm delirious because I'm exhausted, but see you tomorrow. Day 8, it's the 13th of June, it's about 5 to 9. This is take 3 because apparently I can't do these today. Tired today, don't really particularly want to go for this run. I think because I'm ovulating, I've got insomnia, so I'm not sleeping how I normally sleep, so I'm just feeling a little bit more like exhausted in my body than I normally am, and mentally I'm not as strong as I normally am, so I'm not as making myself go for the run. I can't even speak properly, which is why this is take 3. So yeah, I will join you after the run. I'm just having my coffee, and then I'll get going. Hello, so I've just got back from my run. It's 20 to 11. I just turned on my light and the light bulb just shattered everywhere. cut the lights out, and I was in the dark, and I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Like, I've got no got no lights. Quick thinking, went to our mains box, turned the lights back on, and they're working fine now, except the one that's directly above here, which is why it's a bit darker. The lighting's actually better. I should have done this like this from the start. The run was awful. It was horrible. It was just like really hard work, and every time I kept getting updates on the kilometres that I'd ran, it was like 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Like the run today was so slow. Oh, I don't know where I put my phone now because I was cleaning up that bloody glass everywhere. There's still glass all over the floor and stuff. I need to hoover. It's so annoying. Um, it was like an hour. Oh, what's on that? Oh, I haven't stopped it. Probably about an hour and 12 minutes around that time, I would say, which is pretty similar to what I've been doing, but I just seem to be getting even slower, and it's annoying because like I've never run this slow. I used to always run faster, but it's just I just can't do it. Like I'm just so tired, and my legs are so tired. It's probably mental a little bit as well, in the sense of I think if I pushed myself, I would run faster, but I'd be more tired, and because I'm tired already, I'm just trying to conserve energy, I think, on an unconscious level. So I'm just kind of running to get it done rather than running to like run it fast. Because really, if you think about it, like I could only feasibly do it in an hour anyway, so I'm only running for an extra 10 minutes, so it's not really that much of a big deal. So what's the point? What's the point of pushing myself loads for 10 minutes less? Like, what's the point? Because I'll just hurt more and not be able to continue for the days that I need to continue. So I think in the back of my mind, that's probably what I'm thinking, why I'm probably going slow. So although it's annoying, I guess there's logic to it. Legs are killing still, like knees are sore. The muscle, soleus or whatever, can't remember what it's called, on my right leg now is hurting. The one on the left is kind of, it's always just been there, so there's no change there with that. It's not really hurting, it's just thick. But the one on the right side's doing it now. I wonder if I've got an imbalance between my legs, and so that's why I'm getting pain in one side and not the other. I think I've got like one glute that doesn't activate as well as the other one, so that could be something to do with it. I'm just rambling now because I'm so tired. See you tomorrow. Hello, it's day 9, the 14th of June, and it's about 9:15. Today has been probably the first day where I've really actually considered not doing this challenge, because I was just so tired yesterday. Like, it's having a real kind of impact on me physically and mentally, in the sense of my motivation to do anything else is just zero. I've literally just been lying about, like, doing nothing all day, like for the past 2 days. Normally I think I probably said this before, actually thinking about it, just reminding me of when I've said it before, but I'm normally usually really busy and I'm usually doing stuff all the time, and I've just been doing nothing. I've just been laying about, and my sleep schedule's all over the place. So, for example, yesterday I think I woke up probably about 7:30, maybe 8:30 in the evening. I went for the run, came back, like I was that tired. I lay down on the couch for like half an hour just while I was just looking at my phone, and I was like, I'll go upstairs and just like lie down because I'm really tired. Fell asleep for like 4 hours, then woke up, got ready and got changed and stuff. And then after like a few hours, I was back asleep again. So I was just literally like really tired, and then I've been awake since. So it's just like I'm completely all messed up now. So that it's weird me going out running now, because it's like I've been awake for ages. I've not really slept properly. I've not really had a full night's sleep, day sleep. So yeah, this run is not going to be enjoyable. I don't want to do it. I don't want to carry on this challenge. It's like ruining my life. But I imagine that this is kind of like the first like block that I need to get through, where you want to throw a towel in, but you keep going anyway. But we'll see what the legs are like, because they've been sore and stuff, and maybe they'll be all right now, but we'll see. So I'll see you in an hour. So it's 10:20, and it was a disaster. Like, I think this is the end of the challenge now because I started off running. I was pretty much limping as I started off because my right knee was just agony, absolute agony. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to be able to make it round if it carries on feeling like this. And I thought, I'll just keep going because it might just be that it needs to warm up and it might be fine. So I carried on going, and after about half a kilometre, it was fine, couldn't feel it anymore. And for the entire of the run, didn't feel it, which is really strange because at about, I'd say like maybe 3 kilometres in, my left knee just went. I was in agony the whole way. It felt like it was gonna just pop apart. And so I ended up like slowing down, stretched a little bit, tried to run on it again, couldn't. So decided to just walk for a bit, just to like take the pressure off it. It was still hurting when I was walking. Tried to run on it again, couldn't. Ended up walking, tried to run it again, couldn't. So I just ended up having to walk home. So I took a little bit of a shortcut, but by the time I got home, it still said I'd done 9k, which is a lie. It's an absolute lie. Like Strava and Relive just clearly don't measure right because there was no way that that was 9k because I took a whole corner off and I didn't do the extra bit that I normally do. So God knows how much I'm actually running. Who knows? But yeah, absolute disaster. Like, I'm so disappointed because it's only day 9. Like, what was I thinking? Like, as if I could do 25 days. Like, going from one 10k run a week to one every day. It's just not possible. I think this whole experience has basically taught me that you need rest days in between your runs. Like, you can't run every day just from nothing. I mean, you know, if you're used to running quite a lot, and you've built it up, I think that's fine. But to go from like barely anything to run every day, it's just like I've been nothing but like sore the entire time, and I'm not one to get injured. Like, I don't really, get injuries like from running. I just don't. I go out, I have a run, I come back, I feel fine the next day. Like, it's not normal for me to be in this much pain, to be this tired and everything else. I mean, I'm proud of myself because running every day is not something that I could ever do before, and to do it for 9 days, I think it's an achievement. I've ran 80k, which is nearly 2 marathons, and in fact it is 2 because from today doing I did run at least 4k, so I'm a bit sad about it. I don't know if I even want to try it again because I'm just so exhausted, and I'm just like, I just want to run for enjoyment. And I also like want to run long runs, and I want to like run more than 10k. I want to do like another half marathon this month, and I want to try and run faster on 5k's. And it's just like you can't really do it when you're trying to run 10k every day. It's just, this was a pointless challenge basically, because I mean, I wanted to do the 10k because I knew it would be challenging. I think if I'd have done 5k every day, I'd have probably done it, and would I have done it? Like, who knows? Like, because my legs are fucked. Like, they're just so, like, I can feel them now. They're just so tight, and yeah, and I'm so tired, so tired. Yeah. So there we have it. Didn't do it. Iteration 1 is a fail.